Welcome, my dear students. Today we are going to study our first chapter of literature part that is included in the new course of grade 12. Grade 12 students, our course has been divided into two parts, part 1 and part 2. In part 1, we study about the language development that we have already started. In part 2, there is a literature part, out of which today we are going to study the very interesting story, The Neighbours. The Neighbours is a story written by Australian writer Tim Winton. Tim Winton is popularly known for novelist and short story writer. He has won the Australian Literary Award for his best writing. This story, Neighbours, has been taken from the Tim Winton's short story uh, collection book known as The Migrants of Australia. This story, Neighbours, is about a newly married couple living in a multicultural and multilingual suburb neighborhood. Newly married couple, they have been migrated in a new suburb area. New suburb means the village area near to the city. They have been migrated where mostly European immigrants were living. The European immigrants from different European countries, they have been migrated there in Australian suburb. Some of them were Macedonian people, some of them were the people from Poland, some of them were the people from other European nations as well. They have been living. When the newly married couple migrated in the Australian suburb, they found the behavior of the neighbors very strange. They found that the neighbors were disturbing for them. In the left side of their house, there was a house of Macedonian family, and in the right of the newly married couple's home, there was a Polish widower who was migrated from Poland. And their house, the house of the newly married couple, was very beautiful, a small house with its high ceiling and paned windows. They used to have a good or beautiful sight from their windows. They used to see the garden outside from their windows. They used to see the car yards outside. They have a dog as well with them. And the Macedonian family, whose house was just left to the house of the couple, they used to disturb all the time, producing loud noise. They used to make a conversation with the loud voice so that the newly married couple found themselves disturbing. Similarly, in the right of their home, there was the house of the Polish widower who used to hammer the nails on the wood time and again. And he used to take out the nail again and again hammering it so that it produced a kind of disturbing sound to them. And in the neighborhood, there was a boy. The boy used to walk on the street, on the road, and he used to piss on the road. It was a mannerless boy. Once they saw the boy spreading upon the cat. There was a cat on the road. The boy was urinating upon the cat. This all behavior made them very irritated to live there in the new place for them. And they thought all the people of their neighborhood, they are not the people of good culture. They thought so. It means they judged the people They judge the people in the beginning without knowing them properly. And in this way, they uh, have a new experience in the new community. Similarly, the neighbors were also surprised with the lifestyle of the new couple. Generally, in the community, male member used to go outside for walk and female used to stay at home. But in this new couple, uh, the wife used to go to work in a hospital, and the boy used to stay at home, and he was used to write. He was writing a research thesis on the 20th century novel. This behavior, which was just opposite of the community behavior, made the neighbors surprised with their behaviors as well. Okay, but slowly and gradually, as they were staying in the community, they one day they started to work in the kitchen garden while they came down and started to plant some of the vegetables. At the same time, they were unknown. Newly married couple were unknown about the plantation. At that time, the Macedonian family, their neighbors, they come to them and help them for plantation. They help them for plantation. They cooperate them. They help them how to make the distancing or spacing of the plants, how to plant the cabbage and other vegetables, etc. were taught or helped or suggested by the neighbors. And by that time, they found the neighbors helping to each other. Similarly, as the boy was making the hen house, he could not make it in proper way, so that the hen house fell down. When the hen house fell down, then the police widower, he came inside their compound without permission, and he managed the hen house in proper way. By that time, this couple started to smile with their neighbors. They started to talk each other, and they became familiar to each other. And they found the neighbors helpful to each other. Before that, they have judged the neighbors as they were just disturbing. But it was not so. It was not so. They were helpful as well. Okay. While the neighbors started to help them, then they understood that their only assets are their neighbors. Neighbors are their assets. They are helpful person. And they developed the good relationship, amicable relationship with each other. Then after, slowly, they became happy to live in the community. As the days passed, the mm, wife, young woman, she got pregnancy, though they had not planned for it. They had not planned for it. When she became pregnant, they thought, newly married couple thought that they were not going to tell about it to the neighbors. But later on, it was known to the neighbors. While the neighbors are known about her pregnancy, the neighbors started to talk with her and started to give her food and other help. They tried to make her happy. They started to come their home and try to make her happy all the time. In this way, the story, okay, took a new turn, because in the beginning the couple had imagined, they had thought that neighbors are not helpful, they are irritating, they are disturbing, but later on they found very helpful. Similarly, During the time of the pregnancy and during the time of the childbirth of the lady, the neighbors came there. They helped them a lot. They provided good food. One of the neighbors named the child. If the son is born, his name will be this, and if the girl child is born, she will be named like this. And in this way, they became quite familiar to each other. There was no any barrier due to their cultural background and lingual background for their love, affection, and caring. That's why I have already told this story is about the about the multicultural, multilingual society where people can live with the love and affection. They do not need to worry about the about residing in the multicultural and multilingual society. They are so helpful. The neighbors give more love and affection to the newly married couple who were staying there. They were unnamed couple. The writer had not given the name of any character in this story. He had just mentioned the main characters as newly married couple, Macedonian family, Polish widower, the little boy, and other so many neighborhood. But he hasn't given proper name for the purpose that the writer likes to represent the more different culture and society rather than individual in the story. That's why he wants to show the behavior of the different cultural backgrounds people rather than the individual. So name is not given. So while the child is born, see young woman gave birth to the new child, new boy child. Then after the neighbors started to love them, care them, they started to come to their house and they started to live happily in the neighborhood. In this story, we can say that multicultural background, multilingual background does not cause any disturbance for the settlement. Or if even if there are people of different cultural backgrounds in the society, that becomes that makes the that doesn't disturb the people. They love each other, care each other, and live a comfortable life. And at the last of the story, the young boy starts realizing that he had judged the neighbors wrongly, so that he starts weeping due to the happiness. He starts crying due to the happiness because he got the good neighbors there, even if they were migrated in the new cultural society, new cultural background. In this way, the story shows us, also gives us the theme or lesson that we should not judge the people. We should not judge the people from the first sight. If we judge the people from our first sight, first behavior, that can be wrong. The first judgment can be wrong. So we have to be careful about the judgment of the people. In this way, I have told you the story in short. Here is a short summary for you. You can copy it or you can read it, and it becomes helpful for all the students, you all students of grade 12, to prepare for the exam. And here is a textbook. You textbook also you can read. You can go through it. It becomes very helpful. You can pause the video and read. You can make it screenshot as well so that you can prepare for the exam. Okay, my dear students, it can be very helpful for you. अब हामी एकछिन कथालाई नेपालीमा पनि सारांश भन्छौं छोटकरीमा। तपाईहरु नेपालीबाट बुझ्न भयो भने पनि आफ्नो ल्याङ्ग्वेजमा लेख्न सक्नुहुन्छ। माय डियर स्टुडेन्ट्स, यो छिमेकी भन्ने कथा जोन विन्टनद्वारा लेखिएका कथाहरूमध्ये सबैभन्दा राम्रो कथा मानिन्छ। जोन विन्टन अस्ट्रेलियन लेखक, अस्ट्रेलियन नोभलिस्ट भनौँ, उपन्यासकार र कथाकार हुन्। उनले धेरै बच्चाहरूको लागि र एडल्टहरूको लागि पनि कथा लेखेका छन्। र यो कथा उनको द माइग्रेन्ट्स अफ अस्ट्रेलिया भन्ने बुकबाट लिएको कथा, नेबर्स भन्ने कथा हो। यो स्टोरीमा, यो कथामा जोन विन्टनले देखाउन खोजेको कुरा के भन्नुहुन्छ भने विविध भाषिक समुदाय र विविध सांस्कृतिक समुदायमा रहेर पनि मानिसहरूलाई एकअर्कामा सौहार्दता व्यवहार देखाउनको लागि, एकअर्कामा माया देखाउनको लागि, एकअर्कामा आत्मीयता देखाउनको लागि कुनै अवरोध हुँदैन। विभिन्न समुदायका मान्छेहरू, विभिन्न जात जाति भाषा धर्म संस्कृतिका मान्छेहरू एक ठाउँमा बसे पनि उनीहरू एउटा समुदायमा बसिसकेपछि एकअर्कालाई हेल्प गरेर सहयोग गर्दै अगाडि बढ्न कुनै कुराले पनि बाधा पुर्याउँदैन भनेर देखाउन खोज्नु भएको छ। यसका साथै यो स्टोरीमा अर्को उहाँले देखाउन खोज्नु भएको कुरा के छ भने मानिसहरूले अरूलाई पहिलो नजरमा पहिलोचोटि हेर्दा एक दुई दिन भेटेको भरले निर्णय गर्नु हुँदैन, अरूको बारेमा जजमेन्ट गर्नु हुँदैन। अरूलाई हामीले पहिलो नजरमै जजमेन्ट गर्यौं भने त्यो रङ हुन पनि सक्छ भन्ने कुरा देखाइएको छ। यो स्टोरीमा दुईजना नयाँ विवाहित जोडी छन्, कपल छन्, न्यूली म्यारिड कपल छन्। उनीहरू नयाँ ठाउँमा, नयाँ अस्ट्रेलियन सबबमा उनीहरू माइग्रेट अथवा बसाइँ सरेर जान्छन्। त्यहाँ चाहिँ युरोपियन देशहरूबाट आएका, बसाइँ सरेर आएका मान्छेहरूको बसाइ छ। त्यसै बीचमा उनीहरू एउटा सानो घर किनेर बस्छन्। उनीहरूको घर सानो छ तर अग्लो सिलिङ छ, ठुलो ठुलो झ्याल छ, जहाँबाट झ्यालबाट रुफबाट उनीहरू चाहिँ गार्डन हेर्न सक्छन्, वरिपरिको सडकहरू हेर्न सक्छन्, रमाइलो छ। यो दुईजना कपल जो म्यारिड छन् उनीहरू मध्ये उसको वाइफ चाहिँ, श्रीमती चाहिँ हस्पिटलमा काम गर्छिन् भने केटा चाहिँ, हस्बेन्ड चाहिँ घरै बसेर एउटा रिसर्च गरिरहेको छ। उसले चाहिँ एउटा थेसिस लेखिरहेको छ 20th सेन्चुरी नोभलको बारेमा। र छिमेकीहरू उनीहरूको कपलको घरभन्दा देब्रे साइडमा, लेफ्ट साइडमा एउटा मेसोडोनियन परिवार बस्छ। उनीहरूलाई मेसोडोनियन परिवार एकदमै डिस्टर्बिङ लाग्छ किनभने उनीहरू ठुलो ठुलो स्वरमा गफ गर्छन्, कुराकानी गर्छन् र सधैँ हल्लाखल्ला गर्ने हुनाले उनीहरूलाई डिस्टर्ब भए जस्तो लाग्छ। र उनीहरूको घरभन्दा राइट साइडमा एउटा पोल्यान्डबाट माइग्रेट भएको एउटा विधवा भनौँ, विडोअर भन्छौँ हामी, केटा मान्छे जसको श्रीमतीको डेथ भइसकेको छ, ऊ चाहिँ बस्ने गर्छ। विडोअर भनौँ, विदुर भन्छौँ हामी खासमा भन्दा। ऊ चाहिँ बस्ने गर्छ। उसले पनि यो कपललाई डिस्टर्ब गर्छ कि यो विदुरको काम चाहिँ, यो पुलिस विडोअरको काम चाहिँ के छ भने ऊ चाहिँ काठमा किला ठोक्छ र फेरि ह्यामरले किला ठोक्ने, टङ 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 आवाज निकाल्ने र फेरि केही समयपछि त्यो किलालाई निकाल्ने, फेरि ठोक्ने, जसले गर्दा इरिटेटिङ साउन्ड आइरहेको हुन्छ। त्यस्तै गरी उनीहरूको छिमेकीमा एकजना केटा छ जो चाहिँ सधैँ सडकमा जान्छ र सडकमा पिसाब फेर्दिन्छ र सडकमा पिसाब फेर्दै हुन्छ। एक दिन त उनीहरूले देखे त्यो केटा त क्याटमाथि, सडकमा एउटा क्याट बिरालोमाथि पिसाब छर्किरहेको, फेरि पिसाब फेरेर बिरालोलाई भिजाइदिइरहेको देखे। यी सबै बिहेभियरले उनीहरूलाई लाग्यो कि छिमेकीहरू एकदमै डिस्टर्बिङ छन् र यिनीहरूले हामीलाई डिस्टर्ब मात्र गर्छन् भन्ने उनीहरूले रियलाइज गरे। उनीहरूले जज गरे छिमेकीलाई को बिहेभियर देखेर उनीहरूले पहिलो पटक जज गरे छिमेकी राम्रा छैनन् भनेर। तर वास्तवमा यो कुरा पछि गएर फल्स हुन्छ र उनीहरू छिमेकीसँग रिलेसनशिप डेभलप गरेनन्। उनीहरू आफै बस्न थाले। यिनीहरू दुईजना कपल देखेर पनि छिमेकीहरू अलि सरप्राइज भए किनकि कम्युनिटीमा मेल मेम्बर चाहिँ केटा मान्छे चाहिँ बाहिर जाने अफिस जाने काम गर्ने र पैसा कमाउने चलन थियो र केटी मान्छे घरमा बस्ने घरको काम गर्ने चलन थियो। तर यी कपालहरुमा चाहिँ केटा मान्छे चाहिँ घरमा बस्थ्यो उ चाहिँ थेसिस लेख्दै थियो भने केटी चाहिँ हस्पिटलमा गएर काम गर्थिन् पैसा कमाउँथे। यो देखेर यिनीहरूको व्यवहार पनि छिमेकीलाई अचम्मको लागिरहेको थियो। तर जसै दिन बित्दै गयो दिन बित्दै जाने क्रममा बिस्तारै उनीहरू यो कपाल चाहिँ एक दिन आफ्नो किचन गार्डनमा तरकारी खेती गर्नको लागि उनीहरू तल झरेका थिए। काउली क्याबेजहरू बन्दाहरू रोप्ने अन्य भेजिटेबलहरू प्लान्टेसन गर्न थाले। यो कुरामा उनीहरूलाई ज्ञान थिएन। जब उनीहरूले प्लान्टेसनको बारेमा जानेनन्, बिरुवा रोप्न जानेनन्, बीजहरूको बारेमा उनीहरूलाई थाहा भएन। उनीहरूका छिमेकीहरू आए, मेसिडोनियन फ्यामिलीहरू आए, उनीहरूलाई रोप्नको लागि गार्लिकहरू, त्यसपछि उनीहरूलाई क्याबेजहरू रोप्दा कति डिस्टान्सिङ राख्नुपर्ने, कति स्पेसिङ गर्नुपर्ने, कति फरकमा रोप्नुपर्ने त्यो कुराहरूको बारेमा जानकारी दिए। भेजिटेबल प्लान्टेसनको प्रोडक्सनको बारेमा अटम सिजनमा उनीहरूले कसरी प्रोडक्सन गर्न सक्छन्, कसरी उत्पादन गर्न सक्छन् भन्ने कुरामा छिमेकीहरूले हेल्प गरे। हेल्प गरिसकेपछि उनीहरूलाई छिमेकीहरू प्रतिको दृष्टिकोण अलि चेन्ज हुँदै गयो। उनीहरूले छिमेकीलाई राम्रो मान्दै गरे। त्यस्तै गरी एक दिन यो कपालले केटाले चाहिँ एउटा हेन हाउस बनाएको थियो, कुखुरा पाल्ने घर, कुखुराको खोर भनौँ हामी। कुखुराको घर बनाउँदै गर्दाखेरि उसले बनाएको कुखुराको खोर भत्कियो। त्यो बेलामा चाहिँ त्यो पुलिस विडोवर आएर चाहिँ उनीहरूलाई हेल्प गर्यो। पुलिस विडोवरले चाहिँ कसरी चाहिँ हेन हाउस बनाउने भनेर उसले हेल्प गरिदियो र उसले चाहिँ हेन हाउस बनाइदियो, जसले गर्दा चाहिँ सजिलो भयो, उनीहरूले हेल्प पाए। अब पुलिस विडोर आएर हेन हाउस बनाइदियो, यता मेसिडोनियन फ्यामिलीहरू लगायत अन्य छिमेकीहरू आएर प्लान्टेसनमा हेल्प गरे। यसले गर्दा उनीहरूको छिमेकीप्रतिको दृष्टिकोण परिवर्तन भयो र उनीहरूले छिमेकीलाई अलि राम्रो नजरले हेर्न थाले। उनीहरू छिमेकीप्रति अलि परिचित भए, छिमेकीहरूलाई स्माइल दिन थाले र एकअर्कामा देख्दाखेरि भेट्दाखेरि उनीहरू एकअर्कामा स्माइल गर्ने थाले र फ्यामिलियर जस्तै भए उनीहरू। र यङ कपालले प्लान त गरेका थिएनन्, तर विदाउट प्लान उनीहरूको त्यो यङ लेडी चाहिँ प्रेग्नेन्ट भइसकेपछि सुरुमा उनीहरूले छिमेकीहरूलाई यो कुराहरू भनेनन्, तर पछि बिस्तारै छिमेकीहरूलाई जब यो कुरा थाहा भयो, छिमेकीहरूले उसलाई प्रेग्नेन्सी टाइममा एकदमै लभ एन्ड केयर गरे। उनीहरूले खानेकुराहरू ल्याइदिने, प्रेग्नेन्सी टाइममा अपनाउनु पर्ने सावधानीहरूको बारेमा उनीहरूले सजेसन गर्ने, यी कुराहरू चाहिँ कन्टिन्यू भयो र उनीहरूले छिमेकीहरूले यतिसम्म गरे कि अब यङ लेडीले छोरा जन्मायो भने उसको नाम यो राख्न सकिन्छ, छोरी जन्मायो भने यस्तो नाम राख्ने भनेर उनीहरूले यसरी काइन्ड अफ लभ एन्ड एफेक्सन देखाए, एट्याचमेन्ट देखाए, जसले गर्दा उनीहरू बीच छिमेकी प्रति राम्रो रिलेसनसिप डेभलप भयो। फाइनल्ली चाइल्ड डेलिभरीको टाइममा पनि बच्चा जन्माउने टाइममा पनि छिमेकीहरूले एकदमै राम्रो हेल्प सपोर्ट गरे र बच्चा जन्मिसकेपछि पनि उनलाई मिठो मिठो खानेकुराहरू मिठाईहरू ल्याइदिने यस्तो कुरा गर्न थालेपछि अब यो यङ बोय जुन थियो यसले चाहिँ रियलाइज गर्यो, सुरुमा मैले छिमेकीहरूप्रति मिसजज गरेँ, छिमेकीहरूलाई गलत रूपमा मैले उनीहरूलाई जज गरेछु, वास्तवमा उनीहरू त हेल्पफुल रहेछन्, डिस्टर्बिङ मात्र होइन रहेछन् भन्ने कुरा उसले बुझ्यो। र स्टोरीको लास्टमा चाहिँ यङ केटा रोएर ऊ चाहिँ ही स्टार्टेड क्राइङ ड्यू टु ह्याप्पिनेस। मेरा छिमेकी यति राम्रा रहेछन्, हेल्पफुल छन् भन्ने रियलाइज गरेर, मैले उनीहरूप्रति सुरुमा नराम्रो जज गरेँ भन्ने रियलाइज गरेर ऊ चाहिँ क्राइङ भएको हामी स्टोरीमा देख्न सक्छौँ र यसरी स्टोरीको अन्त्य हुन्छ। त्यसैले यो कथाले हामीलाई बुझाउन खोजेको, दिन खोजेको मेन टिचिङ चाहिँ के हो भने, मेन लेसन चाहिँ के हो भने, हामीले अरूलाई पहिला नै एक दुई पटक हेर्दैमा हामीले जज गर्नु हुँदैन। उनीहरूलाई कहिलेकाहीँ हामी जज गर्न छिटो हुन सक्छौँ, चाँडै जज गर्दाखेरि उनीहरूलाई हामीले मिसजज गर्न सक्छौँ, सही जजमेन्ट नहुन सक्छ भन्ने कुरा एउटा हो भने, अर्को कुरा मल्टिलिङ्गुअल बहुभाषिक तथा बहुसांस्कृतिक समाजमा बसेर पनि एकअर्कामा माया, प्रेम, सद्भाव र सहयोगको लागि कुनै बाधा अड्चन हुँदैन भन्ने कुरा यो कथाले देखाउन खोजेको छ। माई डियर स्टुडेन्ट्स, अब मलाई लाग्छ तपाईहरुलाई इंग्लिश र नेपाली दुवैमा भएपछि यो कथा बुझ्न निकै सजिलो हुन्छ र तपाईले यो भिडियोलाई हेर्नु होला र तपाईलाई कस्तो लाग्छ केही कुराहरू छन् भने तपाईले कमेन्टमा लेख्न पनि सक्नुहुन्छ र तपाईलाई यो कथा द नेबर्स भन्ने कथा राम्रोसँग बुझ्न सक्नुभयो। तपाईलाई राम्रो लाग्यो भने यस भिडियोलाई तपाईले लाइक, कमेन्ट र यो च्यानललाई तपाईले सब्स्क्राइब पनि गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ। यति भन्दै आज म बिदा हुन चाहन्छु र अर्को स्टोरी लिएर म फेरि तपाईहरु सामु आउने नै छु। थ्यांक यू एभ्रीवन। बाइ बाइ। हैव अ नाइस टाइम।